Hey there, Will Rice with the Tips team, bringing you another after-school special. Today we'll be running through some of the new changes that launched in Read and Write for Google Chrome over the summer. This is a pretty substantial change in a couple of tools, and we want to make sure you're aware of how it'll impact your students. You may notice when you first log on after the summer break that the prediction button has been replaced by what looks to be a little cloud. That's because Read and Write for Google Chrome and Co-Writer have merged some of their tools with Co-Writer Prediction, replacing the traditional prediction for students in Read and Write. So now when clicking on the prediction tool here, which looks like a cloud now, you'll notice that when you first turn it on and you click, you're going to see a pop-up. It'll look very similar to the past, where it's going to be suggesting some words. I have mine set to a default of 3 prediction options. But there are 2 great new features here that we can consider. The first is for students that don't like having the numbers, maybe they have trouble attending to text, they can turn off the numbers for the options. They can still go ahead and do a number of things with that, clicking to hear the words and such. But the big change here is you can now customize temporarily those prediction dictionaries. Clicking on the dictionary button in the pop-up for the prediction, you'll be able to search for topics and go ahead and, suggest some words, some word dictionaries specific to the topic. So in this case, if the document I'm working in is about dinosaurs, your students might want to turn on that dinosaur topic. And that means that when they come in here and they start, well, we have to close the dictionary, obviously. You'll see here that it very quickly takes a dinosaur term and puts it to the top of the list. So for your students that maybe find 10's too long, but the things they need for academic vocabulary are too far down the list, they can go ahead and turn on a academic vocabulary dictionary for their text prediction temporarily and allow it to bring some of those suggestions closer to the top for them. And in fact, Tyrannosaurus Rex is a 2-word term, which may not have shown up in the top 10 for the first few letters there. So as you can see, that's one big change, which is the change in prediction, having those options for the dictionary edition and the toggling of the numbers. The next big one is actually all under the hood. So if we head up to the 3 dots in the top right corner of the toolbar and we head to settings, we're going to see a few new things here. Number 1, we now have the option, instead of having the horizontal toolbar at the top of the screen, if that's something that's getting in the way or you prefer it in another location, we can now move it to the right-hand side. So it's not taking up vertical space where perhaps maybe it's getting in the way of some of the things on the screen. Or we can actually put it into writing mode. This will allow it to pop up on the screen when you start typing. This is not something that I think a lot of students are going to figure out naturally, so I would probably stick with horizontal or vertical, but by default it's going to go to horizontal. As we head in here under prediction, we have a few more options. Here we can, as always, change the number of results, but we also have the ability to predict ahead, predict from the page, so it's actually going to look at the page on websites and kind of take a guess at the content there to help you. And if you really want to, and your students are just struggling with the new prediction tool, you can toggle this on and it will actually go back and use the previous text prediction from Text Help to help you sort of like teach the students if they need that teachable moment. And as well, you can change that text size. The last big one here that I kind of skipped over at the top is profiles. So before you changed a setting, it changed everywhere and you had to remember what you changed. Here now, we could go ahead and create another student profile. Maybe we call this French. And when we're in this French transition, this is a settings profile. So perhaps now under languages, I can go in here and I'm going to make this French and make this French. And now all my menus are in French. All my hover-overs up here are in French when I go over them. But now if I want to switch that back as a student, maybe in a French immersion program, I can simply click on my default English profile and toggle between the 2 languages and all those settings, including speaking language and everything else. So for your students who work in multiple languages, this is going to be a much quicker way for them to toggle all of those changes they may have made in order to work truly bilingually in that other language using Read and Write. So those are the big changes. that are out. The rest of the tools have remained pretty much identical in every way, but that think of the prediction change to co-writer prediction sort of being prediction on steroids and maybe more useful, and the ability to change some of those settings a little bit differently, including profiles being the big change under the hood. Hopefully that gets you started with understanding some of those changes. Those changes flow across the product stack, whether it's a website or a PDF, is you're going to see very similar settings and tools and buttons in all of those places now. So take a look at that, maybe go over it with your students so that they're aware of that change, and hopefully that'll get you off to a great start. As always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to your TIPS consultant or go to tips.epsb.ca to check out some more information and supporting documentation.